So I want to talk about sex and money, pleasure, erotic energy, and abundance, money. So I see this similarity in how folks relate to their sexual energy, to pleasure, and to money. Often how they relate to one is how they relate to the other. So their dynamic with money is very similar to their dynamic with pleasure, with sex, and vice versa. So there can be some nuance for sure, but typically across the board, there is a very, very close relationship here, which is good news because if we're seeing a certain pattern in one area, we can go to the other area to sort of create a new pattern, create a new reality, a new experience with sex or pleasure or money and abundance. So I see two things happen here. There's of course a plethora of dynamics that we can have, but there's two main areas that I see people struggle. And one is in attracting the experience to begin with. So attracting money, attracting abundance, or feeling pleasure, allowing pleasure to be in our body, to feel safe in experiencing pleasure, safe in having money, to feel like we are worthy of pleasure. Like I get to experience this. This is something that is okay. It's not dangerous, right? Pleasure is my birthright. And in that same vein, the earth is abundant. I can have abundance, I can have money, I can have the resources I need to live comfortably and not struggle, not suffer constantly. So this dynamic is very similar, and often if we struggle in allowing pleasure in, we can struggle in allowing money in or resources in of any kind. The second thing I see is in holding it. So step one is experiencing it, is sort of bringing that in and allowing ourselves to feel it. Two is sustaining that experience. So for example, in sex, right? So maybe we can experience little bits of pleasure, but then maybe shame takes over, or guilt, or anger, or grief. And we kind of push the experience away, or we, want to just get it over with. It's too much to feel so full of ecstasy, of bliss. And so maybe we push people away. Maybe we avoid intimacy. Maybe we can only feel pleasure in small amounts and no more, And so it becomes really beautiful to work on sustaining that pleasure and that vital energy and allowing erotic energy to move through our bodies in bigger ways so that we, are circulating a lot of life force and are feeling full. And that reaches beyond the sexual realms and into love and into, communion with our lives, with spirit, with others. Same thing with money. Maybe we can bring money in, maybe we can attract it. That's not the problem. It's holding it. Are we holding our abundance? Can we, have a savings account? Can we invest? Can we make smart decisions with our money? Can we be good stewards of the energy that we have drawn in? Can we be good stewards of our sexual energy? Choose to use it wisely and in ways that are aligned with our values. Same thing with money. Can we use our money, spend our money, invest our money in ways that are in alignment with our values, that, allow us to share when that feels right and hold when that feels right. And so there's a real similar dynamic here as well. So much more to this topic that I could go into, but this gives you a little taste of some of the dynamics that I see over and over again in folks I work with and friends and colleagues and all of that. You can learn more about this dynamic of sex and money in my course, Sex and Money, which you can find on my website. And also, I do really encourage you at the very least to take a bit of an inventory. How am I in relationship with these forces? How do I relate with sex and with money and with pleasure? And if you're wanting a more intimate container to explore the depths of this and to really make some changes in either sex or money or both, I invite you to reach out. I have space in my one-on-one programs right now, and this is some of the juiciest work I am doing. And there are massive transformations happening in the folks I'm working with. And this topic of sex and money is really up for a lot of people right now. So I invite you to dive in.